Douglas PUD's White Sturgeon Management Plan focuses on the protection and enhancement of the white sturgeon population found within the Wells Reservoir. One element of the plan is an annual commitment to community outreach and education. In 2014, the Senior Advanced Placement Biology class from Bridgeport High School visited the Wells Hatchery to learn about sturgeon ecology, and later in the year, returned to assist at the release of yearling sturgeon into the Wells Reservoir at Bridgeport. Douglas PUD Senior Aquatic Resource Biologist Andrew Gingrich oversaw this outreach event.
So these are white sturgeon. There's about 500 per tank, roughly. And white sturgeon are native to the Columbia River. They've been in the river for thousands of years, and some of the white sturgeon we have in the river are actually predate a lot of the dams on the Columbia River. So these fish are actually just outside your classroom in the river. So we just relicensed Wells Dam. So these public dams are licensed by the federal government, and with that license comes an obligation to do fisheries enhancement projects, protection of fisheries resources that we have out there. And one of our programs to do that is a white sturgeon program. It's an agreement basically that we're going to do something for sturgeon. During that relicensing process, we found that we only have about 35 white sturgeon left in the Wells project, and that's between Wells Dam and Chief Joe, so not too many. But one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to enhance that population, and that's why these sturgeon are here. They're a prehistoric fish. They're also the biggest fish in the Columbia River. These fish can be 7-8 feet long when they're adults. Are they, sorry? That's a good question. The question is, how long do they live? These fish live for a long, long period of time, sometimes 60 years or more. One of the things why we're doing this is we've realized, and we're not sure why, throughout the Columbia River and sturgeon populations all over North America, they have what we call recruitment failure. That means the adults are spawning and reproducing in the wild, but somewhere between when they're hatched out as a larval fish, 14 days old, and when they're 1 year old, something happens to them, they disappear. And we call that recruitment failure. The adults are spawning, but the young fish, the juveniles, don't recruit to the environment. So our hope is to release these fish after a year of growth, get them past that bottleneck or that first 12 months of life, and then after that their survival should be really high. And hopefully these fish will become adults, and we can work towards figuring out why we have recruitment failure so that we don't have to do this forever and release fish continually. So you guys saw the sturgeon at the Wells Fish Hatchery about a month ago. What we're going to do is we're going to release about 30 of them today. Earlier this week on Monday we released about 2,800 lower in the reservoir in the Wells project area. And we'll release another 2,000 or so, 2,100 in June. Each of the fish that we released today has a PIT tag, or a passive integrated transponder. We spoke about those little PIT tags. These tags don't send out an active sound. They don't have a battery that can transmit sound. But what they can do is they have a little coil that when you wave a wand over them after we recapture the fish, you can hear it, and you get a little code on the screen on that wand. The reason why we're tagging these fish with PIT tags is that when we recapture them, we'll know exactly where that fish came from, what year it was raised in the Wells Fish Hatchery. And the other thing we'll be able to do is we'll be able to measure the fish. Each one of these fish has already been measured. So when we measure the fish on recapture, we get an idea of how the fish are growing, how well they're doing in the Wells project. So we can get all kinds of good biological data from them. So what I'm hoping today that we can do is much of the hands-on work as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the fish out, we're going to wand it, we're going to write down that unique PIT tag code so you guys can see how that works. Okay, so what you can do with this wand is when you're waving it, this is the part that reads. When you're waving it over the fish, you just hold down that center button right there, and you'll see the code come up. It'll say reading, and you'll see the code come up. So go ahead and wand that fish. Write those codes down. Once we've confirmed that we got the code right from what we see on the wand and what we have written down, then the fish can be released. And you can do that a couple different ways. If you want to release a fish by just using the net, you can do that, and you can just turn the net inside out. You can release them anywhere along the dock here, anywhere is fine.
Don't go under the line. I don't want to let go.
I thought it was cool because we didn't really ever know what a sturgeon looked like or anything, and so it was nice to see what they look like and see how their life cycle is and stuff. It has stuff on it.
Wait, don't put your...
Okay. Hurry!
Oh, Gloria, you're Gloria!
Mine was
I don't know, I just thought it was really awesome.
My thought was, I hope I don't kill it. They're really slimy and I was scared. Okay. I thought releasing this fish and probably seeing them grow up later will be awesome, keeping track of them.
I thought it was amazing because it is, like they said, it's not something you do every day. And just to be part of it, it's a great experience.
And we're like the only class doing it too. Like there's no other school doing it.
It's because we're the best. This was the most hands-on experience we've had so far, and it was nice because it's here in our community. I felt like a mother releasing their child.
Out to the ocean. It's all grown up.
Baby fish is not all grown up. It's like a little sister. Okay, there.
Your sister has it.
This student involvement and other outreach activities serves to connect the district's white sturgeon goals with the surrounding community.